In the beginning, there was silence. No stars, no time, no light. Then something happened. A spark, a fracture in nothingness. And the universe began to breathe, but even now, we don't understand it. We see galaxies spinning in the dark, held together by something invisible, something we call dark matter, a hidden force shaping everything around us. We watch the universe expand, faster and faster, driven by an unknown energy, stretching reality itself. 95% of the cosmos is still a mystery, unseen, untouched, unknown. So the question remains, are we exploring the universe, or just the shadow of something far greater? Or just the shadow of something far greater? Because the deeper we look, the stranger it becomes. Black holes, silent giants where time collapses, and light itself cannot escape. Some say they are endings. Others believe they are doors, portals to elsewhere, or else when. Signals drift through the void, echoes from ancient space, patterns we don't fully understand. Are they natural, or something trying to be heard? And then there is the question, the one we try not to ask. If the universe is so vast, so impossibly old, why does it feel like we are being watched from the dark between the stars? Maybe the mystery isn't out there. Maybe it's waiting for us to notice it. As we peer into the cosmos, one mystery keeps scientists awake at night. Fast radio bursts, brief, powerful flashes of energy from galaxies billions of light years away. Nobody knows what causes them. Are they the echoes of colliding neutron stars? Or something far stranger, something intelligent? Then there's the cold spot in the cosmic microwave background, the leftover heat from the Big Bang. It's a vast, frigid region of space where the universe seems missing. Some think it's just a quirk of cosmic randomness. Others whisper it could be evidence of another universe, another bubble floating alongside ours. And let's not forget rogue planets drifting alone through the void, untethered to any star. These lonely wanderers challenge everything we know about planetary formation. Could life exist there in the darkness, forever hidden from our eyes? Even closer to home, mysteries swirl in our own solar system. Take Oumuamua, the mysterious interstellar object that zipped through our neighborhood in 2017. Its strange shape and trajectory sparked debates worldwide. Natural rock? Or a probe from another civilization? We may never know. The universe teases us with questions that have no answers. At least, not yet. Every telescope, every probe, every signal we detect adds another piece to the puzzle, but the picture keeps changing. Because the cosmos doesn't yield its secrets easily. It whispers, it teases, and it reminds us. The more we discover, the more we realize how little we truly understand. And so you drift, forever voyaging through the stars, through the folds of reality, through the endless humming heart of the universe, carried by the mystery, without destination, without end, yet at peace and fully awake in the infinite. Close your eyes and imagine you are no longer on Earth. You drift through the velvet black, weightless, timeless. Stars stretch into rivers of light. Galaxies swirl like luminous dancers, and nebulae breathe clouds of color that shimmer and fade. Feel the silence of space, a silence so deep it hums within you, echoing the birth of the universe itself. You pass a black hole. Its presence is immense, mysterious. Time bends around it. Light curves, following paths you cannot see. And yet, you are not afraid. You are only a witness, floating along the edge of the unknown. Comets streak past like sparks from a cosmic fire, their icy tails dissolving into darkness. And somewhere, far away, a rogue planet drifts, a lonely traveler wandering between the stars, carrying secrets older than life itself. Feel the pull of the galaxies, the unseen tug of dark matter, shaping the universe in ways we cannot yet understand. You are part of this vastness, Your heartbeat echoes the rhythm of spinning stars. Your breath flows with the expansion of space itself. Here, in this infinite silence, the universe does not ask you to understand. It invites you to simply be, to float, to wonder, to listen. And maybe, just for a moment, you realize that the greatest mystery of the cosmos is the connection between you and the stars. You drift farther into the void, past familiar constellations, past the light of stars you once knew. A cluster of ancient galaxies appears ahead, their glow faint, yet persistent, like memories of the universe itself, holding stories written in light across billions of years. Between them, dark voids stretch endlessly, silent seas where no star dares to shine. Here, gravity weaves invisible threads, pulling matter into shapes unseen, shaping worlds that may never see a sun. A strange light flickers in the distance, irregular, fleeting. You feel it more than you see it, a pulse that seems alive, a rhythm not your own. Perhaps it is a signal from the heart of a dying star, or a whisper from something beyond understanding. Rogue planets drift past, cold, lonely wanderers in the cosmic night. Some spin slowly, bathed in faint starlight, their surfaces untouched by warmth, their silence unbroken for eons. A black hole rises ahead, towering, immense, a shadow within the stars. Its event horizon shimmers faintly, bending the light around it, a window into the unknown. You sense the pull, not violent but irresistible, an invitation to glimpse what lies beyond. And then, in the distance, a nebula blooms, colors shifting and flowing like liquid fire, gases swirling in patterns that seem almost conscious. You feel their slow motion resonate within you, a reminder that even in emptiness there is creation. Through this river of stars you drift, not rushing, not searching, simply moving, carried by the currents of space and time. Strange anomalies appear along your path, bright flashes that vanish before understanding, patterns in the darkness that tease a design, as if the universe itself is leaving breadcrumbs for those who wander far enough to notice. A distant quasar shines suddenly, its energy blasting across millions of light years. You feel it like a heartbeat, reminding you of the raw power and mystery that lies in the fabric of the cosmos. You pass galaxies colliding, their stars scattering, merging, painting the void with brilliance and chaos. Life and destruction intertwined, a cosmic dance that has repeated for eons. And as you drift even further, beyond what maps have charted, beyond what telescopes have glimpsed, you come to a place where light itself seems thin, where the universe holds its breath, where everything feels both infinite and intimate. Here, perhaps, lies the greatest mystery, not a planet, not a star, not a black hole, but the endlessness itself, the silence that contains everything, the unknown that calls without words. You realize then that the voyage has no end. Each discovery leads to another question, each star to another shadow, each moment to another eternity. And in this vast, unending journey you understand the quiet truth of the cosmos. It does not reveal itself fully. It is a story that whispers, a riddle without a solution, a meditation without conclusion. And yet, in its mystery, there is peace. In its silence, there is wonder. And in its infotron stars appears ahead, tiny yet incomprehensibly dense. They pulse with an eerie rhythm, their magnetism rippling through the void, echoing like a heartbeat that is not yours, reminding you that matter itself can sing. You glide past cosmic strings, if they are strings, thin threads of energy stretching across dimensions, vibrating with secrets of the early universe. Somewhere perhaps they carry the first whispers of existence, the faint echoes of creation still resonating through the dark. And then you notice a faint glow at the edge of sight, a place where the rules you have known begin to fail. Galaxies here swirl in impossible patterns, light warping as though time itself were folding backward. Some call this the edge of the observable universe. Some say it is the threshold of something else, something beyond our cosmos, another bubble, another reality, another story. You feel yourself drawn closer. No fear, only curiosity, only awe. The void hums around you, a vibration older than memory, older than thought itself. A comet-like shadow passes through this strange region, its path bending unpredictably, its glow flickering with unseen energies. You realize that nothing here obeys what you know, and yet everything is part of a deeper, hidden order. And there, at the very limit of vision, you glimpse the faint shimmer of possibilities. Other universes parallel to yours, each one unfolding with its own stars, its own galaxies, its own mysteries. You sense that the cosmos is not a single story, but a library of endless stories, a tapestry of infinite voyages, each one waiting to be noticed. You float among these possibilities, weightless, timeless, your consciousness expanding with every heartbeat of the universe. Questions arise, then dissolve. Wonder rises, then settles into calm. And you understand here, at the edge, there is no need to know the answers. The journey itself is the mystery. You drift deeper and deeper, beyond the reach of maps, beyond the whisper of light, into the infinite unknown. And yet, even here, even at the boundaries of existence, the cosmos feels alive, aware, as if it knows you are watching, as if it has been waiting for you all along. You are a voyager, a witness, a dreamer in the void. And in this eternal silence, you feel the truth. The universe is not something to be solved. It is something to experience, to drift within, to float alongside, to wonder at, forever mysterious, forever infinite, forever yours to explore. You continue, drifting beyond the edge where galaxies fade into a silence so deep it feels almost alive. Here, the universe reveals one of its greatest truths. Most of it is hidden. Everything you have seen, stars, nebulae, galaxies, is only a small fraction of what exists, a thin layer of light on an ocean of darkness. Nearly all of the cosmos remains unseen. Science news today. You begin to feel it now, not with your eyes, but as a presence, dark matter, an invisible structure stretching across the universe like a vast cosmic web. It does not shine, it does not speak, and yet it holds galaxies together, guiding their motion through gravity alone. You drift along one of its hidden filaments as if following an unseen current, realizing that everything you passed before, every galaxy, every star, was anchored to this silent framework. And then, something even stranger. A force that does not pull, but pushes. Dark energy. You feel it in the expansion of space itself, a gentle but unstoppable stretching, pulling galaxies farther and farther apart. Not through motion, but through the expansion of reality itself. It is everywhere, between every star, within every void, a quiet pressure guiding the fate of the entire universe. And yet, no one truly knows what it is. You drift deeper, carried now not just through space, but through the forces that shape it. Time begins to lose meaning. Distances dissolve. You pass through a region where galaxies thin out, where the cosmic web stretches into vast emptiness. A great void. Here, there is almost nothing, no stars, no light, only the faint memory of existence itself. And still, the universe expands. You realize something profound. Even nothing is not truly empty. It is filled with energy, with possibility, with the unknown. A faint glow appears ahead, not a light, not a star, but a boundary of perception itself. You approach it slowly. This is not a place, not a destination, but a limit, the edge of what can never be seen, the horizon of the observable universe. Beyond it, light has not had time to reach you. Beyond it, the story continues, without you. And yet you feel it, a vast continuation, endless, perhaps infinite, or perhaps something even stranger, a closed loop, a folded reality, a universe that curves back into itself, or countless universes, stacked, layered, drifting beside your own. You float at this threshold between the known and the unknowable, and for a moment, everything is still. No motion, no sound, only awareness. You are not just observing the universe, you are inside its mystery, a fragment of it, a way for it to witness itself. And as you drift there, at the edge of everything, you understand the universe does not end. It only becomes more mysterious. And the journey never truly reaches a final point. It simply fades into deeper questions, deeper silence, deeper wonder, waiting. And so you do. You let go of the idea of an end. There is no final destination here, only deeper layers of the unknown, unfolding, slowly, endlessly. You move beyond the horizon, not with your body, but with awareness itself. Space no longer feels like distance. Time no longer feels like a line. Everything begins to blur into something softer, something without edges. You pass through a region where reality flickers, not broken, but uncertain. Particles appear, disappear, as if existence itself is breathing. This is the quantum deep, a place where things are not fixed, where possibilities exist before outcomes, where the universe has not yet decided what it is. You feel it, not as confusion, but as pure potential. Every path exists here, every version of what could be waiting. And as you drift through it, you sense something even more subtle. Observation changes everything. The moment something is seen, it becomes real. And so you wonder, is the universe unfolding on its own, or is it being shaped by those who witness it? The thought dissolves before it becomes an answer, because here, answers are not needed, only experience, only presence, only the quiet unfolding of mystery. You continue. The quantum haze fades into a vast stillness, deeper than any void before. No stars, no particles, not even darkness as you knew it. This is something else. A silence beneath silence, a place where even the idea of space begins to lose meaning. And yet, you are still here, aware, drifting, then a subtle shift, not seen, not heard, felt, a pattern, a rhythm so faint it almost escapes notice, like the echo of something beyond existence itself. It pulses, slowly, as if the universe, or something beyond it, has a heartbeat. You follow it, not moving, but aligning, and as you do, you begin to sense it, the possibility that everything you have traveled through, galaxies, voids, time, matter, energy, is only a surface, a projection, a shadow of something deeper, something that cannot be seen directly, only felt only approached through stillness. The rhythm grows clearer, not louder, just closer, and for a moment, a single, infinite moment, you feel completely merged with everything. No separation, no distance, no observer, and nothing being observed, just awareness, endless, whole. And in that state, a realization emerges, not as words, but as knowing. The mystery was never something to solve. It was something to become part of, something to enter, something to experience from within. The pulse fades, the stillness returns, and slowly, gently, the sense of self begins to return like a distant memory drifting back into form. Stars reappear. Light returns. The universe unfolds once more into shapes and motion and time. But something is different now. You carry the silence with you, the depth, the mystery. And as you drift once more among the stars, you understand this journey never truly ends, because the deeper you go, the more the universe becomes not a place you travel through, but something that travels through you. And as you drift once more among the stars, the silence begins to change. Not louder, but more intentional. A pattern emerges. At first, it feels like the distant pulses you've passed before, the echoes of dying stars, the rhythm of spinning neutron cores. But this is different, it repeats. Not perfectly, but not randomly either. You remember the signals humans once detected, short, powerful bursts of radio waves from distant galaxies. They called them fast radio bursts. Most were explained as natural events, magnetars, collapsing stars, cosmic violence, but some repeated again and again, as if something somewhere was knocking on the fabric of space. You drift closer to the source of such a pulse, not reaching it, but feeling its origins stretch across light years. Could nature create patterns that feel so deliberate? Or is intention something we project onto the unknown? The question lingers, unanswered. Then something passes by you, silent, fast, unfamiliar, a shape, elongated, tumbling slowly through the void. You recognize it. Oumuamua, a visitor from another star system. It entered, crossed the solar system, and left. No orbit, no return. Its motion was strange, accelerating slightly as if pushed by something unseen. Some said it was just ice, releasing gas as it warmed near a star. Others wondered, quietly, if it was something else, not a ship, not exactly, but perhaps a fragment, a probe, or debris from something built long ago, far away. You drift alongside it for a moment, imagining its journey through interstellar darkness. How long had it traveled? Thousands of years? Millions? What had it passed? What had it seen? And more importantly, was it alone? The silence returns, but now it feels different, full, watching. You move deeper. A distant star flickers, not like a natural fluctuation, but dimming, then brightening in uneven intervals. You recall theories once whispered among scientists, structures large enough to surround stars, capturing their energy. Not proven, not confirmed, but not impossible. The universe is old, older than imagination. If life began elsewhere, if it had time, what might it become? You pass through a region filled with ancient signals, radio waves spreading outward in all directions. Some are natural, but some carry structure, mathematical, precise, simple at first, then more complex, like a language trying to form. But distance distorts everything. Time stretches meaning. What arrives is only fragments, echoes of something that may no longer exist, or something that is still there, waiting. You begin to understand a deeper mystery. Maybe alien contact is not a single moment, not a landing, not a message decoded overnight. Maybe it is a slow realization that the universe has always been speaking, in signals, in objects, in patterns, and we are only just learning how to listen. You drift further carrying that thought, and in the endless dark among silent travelers like Oumuamua, among signals that repeat without clear origin, you feel it again. That subtle presence, not close, not far, just possible. And the question remains, hanging quietly between the stars, are we alone in the universe, or are we simply not yet able to recognize who else is out here with us? The voyage continues. And as you drift once more among the stars, the silence begins to change. Not louder, but more intentional. A pattern emerges. At first, it feels like the distant pulses you've passed before, the echoes of dying stars, the rhythm of spinning neutron cores. But this is different, it repeats. Not perfectly, but not randomly either. You remember the signals humans once detected, short, powerful bursts of radio waves from distant galaxies. They called them fast radio bursts. Most were explained as natural events, magnetars, collapsing stars, cosmic violence, but some repeated again and again, as if something somewhere was knocking on the fabric of space. You drift closer to the source of such a pulse, not reaching it, but feeling its origins stretch across light years. Could nature create patterns that feel so deliberate? Or is intention something we project onto the unknown? The question lingers, unanswered. Then something passes by you, silent, fast, unfamiliar, a shape, elongated, tumbling slowly through the void. You recognize it. Oumuamua, a visitor from another star system. It entered, crossed the solar system, and left. No orbit, no return. Its motion was strange, accelerating slightly as if pushed by something unseen. Some said it was just ice, releasing gas as it warmed near a star. Others wondered, quietly, if it was something else, not a ship, not exactly, but perhaps a fragment, a probe, or debris from something built long ago, far away. You drift alongside it for a moment, imagining its journey through interstellar darkness. How long had it traveled? Thousands of years? Millions? What had it passed? What had it seen? And more importantly, was it alone? The silence returns, but now it feels different, full, watching. You move deeper. A distant star flickers, not like a natural fluctuation, but dimming, then brightening in uneven intervals. You recall theories once whispered among scientists, structures large enough to surround stars, capturing their energy. Not proven, not confirmed, but not impossible. The universe is old, older than imagination. If life began elsewhere, if it had time, what might it become? You pass through a region filled with ancient signals, radio waves spreading outward in all directions. Some are natural, but some carry structure, mathematical, precise, simple at first, then more complex, like a language trying to form. But distance distorts everything. Time stretches meaning. What arrives is only fragments, echoes of something that may no longer exist, or something that is still there, waiting. You begin to understand a deeper mystery. Maybe alien contact is not a single moment, not a landing, not a message decoded overnight. Maybe it is a slow realization that the universe has always been speaking, in signals, in objects, in patterns, and we are only just learning how to listen. You drift further carrying that thought, and in the endless dark among silent travelers like Oumuamua, among signals that repeat without clear origin, you feel it again, that subtle presence, not close, not far, just possible. And the question remains, hanging quietly between the stars, are we alone in the universe, or are we simply not yet able to recognize who else is out here with us? And the question does not fade, it follows you. Through the silence, through the drifting light, through the spaces where nothing should be. Yet something always is. You move deeper into a region where signals overlap. Ancient waves crossing paths, echoes layered upon echoes, a cosmic archive written in energy. At first, it is noise, random, chaotic, but as you remain still, listening, patterns begin to separate. A pulse repeats at irregular intervals. Another answers, slightly delayed. Not synchronized, but not entirely independent. You sense something subtle, not communication as you know it, but interaction. As if distant points in the universe are aware of each other's presence, not through words, but through timing, through rhythm. You drift closer to one of these sources, a faint star system, barely visible. Planets orbit quietly, nothing unusual at first glance. But then, a narrow beam of energy cuts across space. Focused, deliberate. Not a natural burst, too precise, too directed. You follow its path, not to its destination, but to its intention. It is not broadcasting everywhere. It is aimed, which means it has a target. And for a moment, you feel something unfamiliar, not fear, but recognition. The universe may not be silent, it may be selective. You drift past the system, leaving the beam behind, but the idea remains. Contact may already be happening. Not loudly, not openly, but quietly, between points we have not yet learned to see. Far ahead, another object emerges from darkness, larger than Oumuamua, slower. Its surface reflects almost no light. As if designed not to be seen, it does not tumble randomly, it adjusts, subtly, a shift in angle, a correction in motion, too small to prove anything, too precise to ignore. You circle it, slowly, no signals, no lights, only silence, but a different kind of silence, the kind that feels occupied. You do not approach closer. Not out of fear, but out of understanding. Some mysteries are not meant to be rushed. You drift away, letting it fade back into darkness, just as it appeared. And as you continue, you begin to realize something deeper. The universe is not hiding aliens. It is not revealing them either. It is simply vast enough that everything can exist without ever colliding. Civilizations may rise, fall, entire histories unfolding between the stars, never touching, or perhaps just barely touching through signals, through objects, through moments like the ones you are passing now. A flash, a pattern, a visitor from another system, clues scattered across infinity, not proof, but not nothing. You drift into a region where starlight thins again and the signals fade into the background. Silence returns, but now it feels different than before, not empty, not lonely, but shared. As if somewhere far beyond sight others drift too, watching, listening, wondering, just like you. And in that quiet understanding, one final thought lingers. Maybe the first contact will not be a message or a landing, but a realization that we have never truly been alone, only separated by distance, time, and the limits of our perception.
The silence now feels familiar, like an ocean you have learned to breathe within. But something has changed. Not in the stars, not in the vast structures of galaxies, but in how you perceive them. You begin to notice gaps, not empty space, but missing patterns. Regions where signals should be, but aren't. Paths where objects should pass, but don't. Voids within the void. You move toward one of these regions. At first, it feels like any other dark expanse, cold, quiet, infinite. But as you enter it, everything softens. Signals fade, background radiation dims, even the faint whispers of the universe, those ancient echoes of the beginning, grow unusually quiet, as if something here is absorbing them. Not violently, not completely, just enough to be noticed. You continue inward. There are no stars here, no drifting planets, no Oumuamua-like travelers passing through, only stillness. And then a realization forms. This place is not empty. It is cleared, not by accident, not by time alone, but by something that has been here, long enough and powerful enough to shape absence itself. You do not see it, you do not hear it, but you feel its effect. A region of space, quieted, curated, as if something once passed through here, or still exists here, and left behind a silence so complete that even the universe seems to step around it. You do not stay long. Some instincts do not need explanation. You drift back toward the faint return of signals, toward the distant glow of galaxies. And as the background hum of the cosmos returns, you begin to understand a new kind of mystery. Not everything leaves evidence by appearing. Some things leave evidence by removing. A missing signal, a diverted object, a silent region where there should be noise. You remember all the things humans have searched for: radio messages, strange objects, unusual motion. But what if the real signs are not what is seen, but what is absent? You pass once more through regions of overlapping signals, but now they feel different, more alive, more intentional. As if the universe is layered with activity, most of it subtle, most of it unnoticed, flowing just beneath the threshold of understanding. And then, one final encounter. A faint transmission, not strong, not clear, but structured. Not repeating like a natural pulse, not chaotic like cosmic noise. Something in between. You cannot decode it, but you feel it. A pattern that almost forms meaning, then slips away. Like hearing a language just beyond comprehension. You follow it briefly, but it fades. Not abruptly, but gradually, as if it was never meant for you. Or not meant for you, yet. You let it go, because now you understand. The universe is not silent. It is not empty. It is not even unknowable. It is simply deeper than perception, layered with mysteries that reveal themselves only when you are ready to notice them. And as you continue your endless voyage, carrying echoes of signals, glimpses of travelers like Oumuamua, and the quiet possibility of others drifting out there, you feel a calm certainty. Contact may not come as a moment, but as a gradual awakening, a shift, a realization that we are already part of a much larger conversation, one that began long before us and will continue long after. The stars stretch endlessly ahead, the mystery deepens, and you keep drifting.
And as you drift further, through layers of silence and signal, something changes again. A glow appears ahead. Not a star, not a nebula. Softer, closer. A planet. You approach slowly, drawn not by gravity, but by something else. Curiosity. The surface is dark, covered in vast oceans that reflect almost no light, no cities, no obvious signs of civilization, and yet something feels wrong, or perhaps different. You descend. Clouds part silently as you pass through them, revealing a landscape unlike any you have seen before. The ground is smooth in places, not natural smoothness, but shaped, waves of terrain that look designed, too regular, too intentional. And then you see them. Structures, not buildings as you know them, no sharp edges, no clear materials, but massive forms rising from the surface, curved, flowing, almost organic, as if grown rather than built. They pulse faintly, slow, rhythmic, like breathing. You move closer. No movement, no inhabitants visible, only these enormous, silent constructs connected across the landscape like a network. And then you feel it. Not a sound, not a signal in the traditional sense. A field, a presence that surrounds the entire planet. It doesn't speak, but it reacts to you. The pulses shift slightly, becoming more synchronized, as if the planet itself has noticed your arrival. You pause, not out of fear, but out of respect, because this does not feel abandoned. It feels aware. You drift along the surface, watching as the structures subtly change, opening, closing, reshaping, like a system adjusting in real time. No lights flash, no messages appear, but the interaction is undeniable. This world is alive, not biologically, not in the way life is usually understood, but as a unified system, a planetary intelligence, ancient, silent, observing. You begin to understand. This is not a civilization that left signals into space. It became the planet. No need for ships, no need for radio. Everything it is exists here, contained, complete. You sense something else, deep beneath the surface. A core, not just molten, but structured, layered, processing, as if the entire planet is thinking, slowly, on timescales far beyond your own. You wonder, how long has it existed like this? Did it begin as a species that merged with its world, or was it always this way? The question remains unanswered, because the planet does not explain itself. It only acknowledges. The pulses slow again, returning to their original rhythm. The moment passes. You are no longer the focus. Gently, you rise away from the surface, through the clouds, back into the open dark. The planet fades behind you, its quiet intelligence hidden once more beneath layers of silence. And as you continue your voyage, one thought lingers. Not all alien life travels the stars. Some of it becomes something else entirely.
And you carry that encounter with you, not as a memory, but as a quiet shift in understanding. The universe is not only filled with travelers, it is filled with transformations. You drift onward. The stars feel different now, not just distant lights, but possibilities. Each one a system. Each system a chance that something, somewhere, chose a path you cannot yet imagine. Ahead, a new system emerges. A dim red star, ancient and steady. Around it orbit several planets, but one draws your attention immediately. It glows faintly, not with reflected light, but from within. You approach. Its surface is fractured, vast cracks stretching across continents, each one radiating a soft, shifting luminescence, like veins of energy just beneath the skin of the world. As you descend, the glow intensifies. The cracks pulse, not randomly, but in sequences, patterns. You pause above the surface, watching the light ripple outward, traveling across the planet in waves. Then you realize it's not geological. It's communication. The entire crust of the planet is acting like a signal grid, sending information across itself through light. You follow one pulse. It travels for thousands of kilometers, crossing oceans of dark mineral plains, reaching another region where the pattern changes, responds, continues. A planetary network. Faster than sound, slower than light, but vast, coordinated, alive in its own way. You descend closer to one of the fractures. Inside, there is no lava, no molten rock, only depth and a shimmering field of particles moving in organized flows, like data through a circuit. You begin to understand. This planet doesn't just think, it processes. Not like the last world, not a single unified awareness, but something distributed, layered. A mind made of regions, each one handling part of a greater whole. And then, the pulses stop. Not gradually, instantly. The entire surface freezes into stillness. Dark, silent. You feel it again, that subtle shift, a tension. The planet has noticed you. A single line of light appears beneath you. Thin, precise. It travels outward in a perfect circle, expanding across the surface until it wraps the entire world. A signal, but different from before. Simpler, deliberate. You don't understand the meaning, but you understand the intention. Contact. Not accidental, not passive. Chosen. You remain still. The light pulses once, then again. Spacing between pulses changes, almost like testing. You realize something profound. This is not a broadcast. It's an attempt to find a pattern you might recognize. A bridge between. You don't know what it means, but you know this. You were recorded, not as data, but as experience, as something that passed through and was noticed. You slowly rise again, leaving the glowing world behind. 2 planets now, 2 completely different forms of intelligence. One silent and unified, one dynamic and communicative. Neither sending ships, neither shouting into space, and yet both aware, both present. As you drift back into the deep, you begin to see the larger picture. The universe may not be empty of life. It may be full of forms we are not yet prepared to recognize. Worlds that think, systems that feel, signals that almost reach meaning,
but remain just beyond it. And as the stars stretch endlessly ahead once more, you carry a new certainty. First contact is not something that will happen one day. It is something that is already happening, quietly, subtly, in moments like these. The voyage continues deeper into the unknown. Night sky.
And as you drift beyond the last glowing world, a new kind of silence surrounds you. Not empty, not calm, waiting. Ahead, a faint signal appears, weaker than anything before, barely holding itself together across the distance. You almost miss it, but something about it is different. It is not a burst, not a pulse. It builds, slowly, like someone learning how to speak. You follow it, across light years of darkness, through scattered dust and forgotten starlight, until you reach its origin, a small, dim star system. Unremarkable, quiet, too quiet. One planet orbits in the habitable zone. Clouds cover its surface, no visible structures, no obvious activity, and yet the signal is coming from here. You descend carefully, through the clouds into a world of vast oceans and scattered land masses lit by a pale, distant sun. At first, nothing, just wind, water, stone. But then the signal again, stronger now, not from the sky, from the surface. You move closer to a coastline where waves break slowly against dark, smooth rock. And there, etched into the surface, patterns. Not random erosion, not natural cracks, geometric, precise, repeating. Lines carved deep into stone, forming shapes that almost resemble symbols, but not quite. As if something tried to create language without knowing how. The signal intensifies. You realize it's not coming from a device. It's coming from the planet itself, or something within it. The ocean begins to shift, not violently, but with intention. Waves align, currents change direction, forming patterns visible from above. Massive, slow, but unmistakable. A message. Not in sound, not in light, in movement, in structure, in time. You watch as the ocean traces shapes, circles, lines, intersections, mathematics. Simple at first, then more complex. Prime numbers, ratios, a universal attempt. You feel it instantly. This is not random. This is not natural. This is first contact. Not with ships, not with voices, but with intelligence trying to reach beyond its own form. You remain still. The patterns repeat, then change, adjust, refine. It is learning, learning from your presence, from your observation. You don't respond, not because you don't want to, but because you don't yet know how. And maybe that is part of the process. The ocean pauses, the patterns stop. For a long moment, everything is still. Then, a single wave moves differently. It curves, slower than the others, and forms a shape not repeated before. Not mathematical, not structured, something else.
something expressive. You feel it before you understand it. Recognition. Not of who you are, but that you are. A presence, an observer, another mind. And in that moment, the distance between worlds collapses, and undeniable. It may arrive quietly, as a pattern that feels too precise, a signal that almost makes sense, a moment where the universe seems to look back at you. And as you drift once more into the endless dark, you understand. The mystery is not whether contact will happen. It is whether we will recognize it when it already has. And as you drift beyond the last glowing world, a new kind of silence surrounds you. Not empty, not calm, waiting. Ahead, a faint signal appears, weaker than anything before, barely holding itself together across the distance. You almost miss it, but something about it is different. It is not a burst, not a pulse. It builds, slowly, like someone learning how to speak. You follow it, across light years of darkness, through scattered dust and forgotten starlight, until you reach its origin, a small, dim star system, unremarkable, quiet, too quiet. One planet orbits in the habitable zone. Clouds cover its surface. No visible structures, no obvious activity. And yet, the signal is coming from here. You descend carefully, through the clouds, into a world of vast oceans and scattered land masses, lit by a pale, distant sun. At first, nothing. Just wind, water, stone. But then, the signal again, stronger now, not from the sky, from the surface. You move closer to a coastline where waves break slowly against dark, smooth rock. And there, etched into the surface, patterns. Not random erosion, not natural cracks. Geometric, precise, repeating. Lines carved deep into stone, forming shapes that almost resemble symbols, but not quite. As if something tried to create language without knowing how. The signal intensifies. You realize it's not coming from a device. It's coming from the planet itself, or something within it. The ocean begins to shift, not violently, but with intention. Waves align, currents change direction, forming patterns visible from above. Massive, slow, but unmistakable. A message. Not in sound, not in light, in movement, in structure, in time. You watch as the ocean traces shapes, circles, lines, intersections, mathematics. Simple at first, then more complex. Prime numbers, ratios, a universal attempt. You feel it instantly. This is not random. This is not natural. This is first contact. Not with ships, not with voices, but with intelligence trying to reach beyond its own form. You remain still. The patterns repeat, then change. adjust, refine. It is learning, learning from your presence, from your observation. You don't respond, not because you don't want to, but because you don't yet know how. And maybe that is part of the process. The ocean pauses. The patterns stop. For a long moment, everything is still. Then, a single wave moves differently. It curves, slower than the others, and forms a shape not repeated before. Not mathematical, not structured. Something else. Something expressive. You feel it before you understand it. Recognition. Not of who you are, but that you are. A presence, an observer, another mind. And in that moment, the distance between worlds collapses, not physically, but in awareness. Two completely different forms of existence, touching, briefly, through pattern and perception. The signal fades. The ocean returns to its natural rhythm. The carvings remain, silent now, but changed, because now they have been seen. You slowly rise back into the sky, leaving the planet behind. No proof, no recorded message, only experience, and one undeniable truth. First contact may not arrive as something clear, loud, or undeniable. It may arrive quietly, as a pattern that feels too precise, a signal that almost makes sense, a moment where the universe seems to look back at you. And as you drift once more into the endless dark, you understand. The mystery is not whether contact will happen. It is whether we will recognize it when it already has.
And somewhere in that vastness, the threshold is finally crossed, not with a sound, not with a ship descending from the sky, but with certainty. A signal, once debated, once doubted, is confirmed, repeated, verified across multiple observatories, independent teams, different worlds, same conclusion. It is not natural. It is intentional. You drift alongside this moment, watching it unfold, not as a single event, but as a turning point in awareness. The signal is simple at first. Mathematics, prime numbers, sequences, a universal language, not tied to culture, not tied to biology, just logic, a foundation both sides can stand on. Humanity responds carefully, not with emotion, but with precision. A reply is constructed, encoded, focused, sent back across the stars. And then, waiting. Years pass, then decades, because distance is real, even for ideas. But the connection has been made. You move forward in time, watching the slow unfolding. The reply arrives, changed, more complex. The pattern evolves, not just numbers now, but relationships, geometry, proportions. Then something unexpected, variation, choice, not repetition, but creativity. You realize this is not just intelligence, it is mind. A presence that explores possibilities just as humans do. Communication grows, slowly,
Each exchange takes years, each message a milestone. There are misunderstandings, long silences, moments where one side sends something the other cannot yet interpret. But the effort continues, because both sides know this is rare, this is fragile, this is history unfolding across light years. You drift further into the future. Humanity changes, not suddenly, but deeply. The idea of being alone disappears, replaced by something larger, participation, a place within a wider cosmos. Science accelerates, not from direct instruction, but from new questions, new perspectives. What once seemed impossible becomes imaginable. Propulsion evolves, communication sharpens. Humanity begins to reach outward, not just with signals, but with presence. Probes first, then vessels. Slow at first, careful, because contact is not just discovery, it is responsibility. You move further still. The gap between worlds begins to close, not in distance, but in understanding. The signals are no longer just mathematics. They carry representations, concepts, ways of seeing reality. Not images as humans know them, but structures of meaning, entire ideas encoded in patterns. And then, a breakthrough, a shared framework, a bridge between forms of thought. For the first time, both sides understand something the same way. Not perfectly, but enough. And in that moment, true contact happens. Not just detection, not just communication, understanding. You feel it ripple outward, across both civilizations, a realization that neither is alone in awareness, that intelligence is not unique, but part of the universe itself. You move even further into the future. The distinction between them and us softens, not because forms merge, they remain different, separated by biology, by origin, by history, but because perspective expands. Multiple civilizations now exist in quiet awareness of each other, not crowded, not chaotic, just present. A network not of constant noise, but of rare, meaningful connections, careful exchanges, long silences, respect for distance, for difference, for the unknown. And you realize something unexpected. The universe does not become less mysterious, it becomes more so, because every answer opens new questions, every contact reveals deeper layers, and still vast regions remain untouched, unseen, unexplored. You drift at the far edge of this future, looking back across time, from silence to signal to understanding. And one quiet truth remains. First contact was never the end of the mystery. It was the beginning of a much larger journey, one where the universe is no longer just observed, but shared. And as you continue drifting beyond even this distant future, the stars remain, endless, waiting for the next connection to begin.
And as you drift once more through the endless dark, the mysteries you've encountered begin to connect, not as answers, but as a pattern. The universe is not just unknown, it is structured in ways we are only beginning to sense. You move through a region filled with galaxies, their light stretched thin across billions of years, and you realize something quietly unsettling. Everything you see is only the past. Light takes time to travel, so every star, every galaxy is a memory. You are not observing the universe as it is, but as it was. And somewhere out there, things may already be different. Stars gone, worlds changed, civilizations risen or vanished. The present moment of the universe is always hidden from you, a mystery built into the fabric of reality itself. You continue. A distant galaxy bends strangely, its light curved into arcs and rings. Gravity is distorting space here, a phenomenon known as gravitational lensing. Mass so large, it warps reality itself. You pass through it, watching light take paths that should not exist. Straight lines, no longer straight. And you understand. Space is not empty. It can bend, stretch, ripple, like a surface or something deeper. Then another mystery emerges, the expansion of the universe.
The expansion of the universe. You feel it now, not as motion, but as separation. Galaxies drifting apart, faster and faster, driven by something invisible, dark energy. And here is the mystery. The farther things are, the faster they move away, until eventually some regions of the universe will become unreachable forever. Light from them will never reach you again. Entire galaxies disappearing from view. Not destroyed, just lost to distance. You drift through this realization. The universe is not only vast, it is becoming more isolated over time. A future where the night sky grows emptier, where observers in distant eras may never know other galaxies even existed. A cosmic loneliness written into the future. You move deeper. And then another strange truth. The laws of physics themselves may not be constant everywhere. Some theories suggest that in distant regions, the constants of nature could differ. Gravity stronger, light behaving differently, entire realities with slightly altered rules. You pause, because this means the universe you experience may be only one version of what is possible, a local expression of something far more complex. And then the deepest mystery of all emerges. Why does anything exist at all? Not how, not when, but why? Why these laws? Why this universe? Why something instead of nothing? There is no signal here, no structure, no pattern to decode, only the question itself. And it does not demand an answer. It simply remains. You drift in that silence, carrying everything you've seen, dark matter, hidden forces, strange signals, possible contact, bending space, vanishing galaxies, and you begin to understand. The universe is not a puzzle to solve. It is an experience to move through, layer by layer, mystery by mystery, and every answer is only a doorway to something deeper. The stars stretch endlessly ahead, the unknown grows richer, and your voyage continues.
And as you drift through the silence between stars, one mystery returns, brief but unforgettable. Oumuamua.
In 2017, it appeared without warning, a faint object moving too fast on a path that didn't belong to our solar system. It came from interstellar space, passed by the sun, and continued on, never to return. At first, it seemed like a comet or asteroid, but something wasn't right. Its shape was unusual. Its brightness shifted strangely. And then, its motion changed. It accelerated slightly as it left the sun, as if something was pushing it. Comets do this all the time, but Oumuamua showed no visible gas, no tail, no dust. Nothing. Scientists searched for answers: exotic ice, invisible outgassing, rare materials. All possible, none confirmed. And so the mystery remains. Some even wondered, quietly, if it could be something artificial, a fragment, a sail, a relic from elsewhere. Most say it's natural. But the real discovery is deeper. Objects from other star systems can pass through our own. Silent travelers, crossing the vast distance between worlds. And as Oumuamua disappears back into the dark, one thought lingers. The next one may already be on its way.
And you keep drifting, watching the darkness more carefully now. Because the universe has changed. Not physically, but in how you see it. If one visitor passed through, others must exist. Countless fragments, wandering between stars for millions of years, carrying pieces of distant worlds. And then, another signal in the data. Another object, faster than anything bound to the sun, on a path that does not return. 2I/Borisov. Unlike Oumuamua, this one behaves as expected. A comet. Ice and dust evaporating in the sunlight, leaving a visible trail. Familiar. Understandable. Almost comforting. It confirms something important. Interstellar objects are real. They are not rare exceptions. They are part of the galaxy. But this creates a deeper question. If natural objects can travel between stars, could something else do the same? Something designed. Something intentional. You move forward through the silence, feeling the scale of it all. Between stars, there are no roads, no signals guiding the way. Only time, only motion. And yet, things arrive, unannounced, unexplained. You look into the darkness again, but now it feels different. Not empty, but active, in ways too subtle to see. And somewhere out there, beyond the reach of light and memory, another traveler drifts closer, still invisible, still unknown, waiting for the moment it enters our story. And as you drift further, the cosmos seems alive with possibilities. Every star, every shadowed world, hints at journeys yet unseen. You sense it. The gaps between light years are not empty. They are corridors, paths for travelers we have barely imagined. And then, another faint signal appears. Not from a planet, not from a star, but from a point of pure darkness. You focus. It pulses, slowly, intentionally. A pattern emerges. Mathematical, structured, impossible to ignore. The implications hit you. This is not a natural phenomenon. Some intelligence, far older, far stranger than humanity, is reaching across space. Not with voices, not with ships, but with subtle signs, waiting for observers capable of noticing. You follow the signal, drifting closer. It bends reality slightly, like Oumuamua's path, but more deliberate. A trajectory chosen, not random. And in that movement, you realize the universe may already be full of first contact moments. Silent, subtle, almost invisible, waiting for the right mind to perceive them. You continue through the dark, carrying the certainty that somewhere, out there, intelligence moves unseen, leaving traces for the curious, the patient, the vigilant, and the voyage goes on.
And drifting deeper, you begin to notice the patterns of the cosmos themselves. Subtle shifts in starlight, tiny variations in gravitational waves, and strange alignments in asteroid paths. Each anomaly a whisper, a possible message from the universe, or from something watching. You remember Oumuamua and Two-Eye Borisov, silent travelers that crossed vast distances, hinting at civilizations beyond comprehension. And now, the signals are not alone. Faint bursts of radio waves pulse from distant galaxies, structured, repeating, like someone is testing if we are listening. Not all of it makes sense. Some may be natural, some may not be. But you feel the intention, a presence behind the silence. And suddenly, a thought arises. First contact may not arrive in a dramatic flash. It may already be happening, layered into the universe itself, hidden in light, in motion, in patterns too subtle to notice. You drift on, carrying this awareness, knowing the journey is infinite, and that the next visitor, the next signal, the next mystery, could appear at any moment. The cosmos stretches ahead, endless, alive, and your voyage continues through mysteries that beckon. And as you drift ever onward, the realization settles deep within you. The universe is not silent. It is speaking, but in ways that require patience, perception, and presence. Every object, every anomaly, every fleeting signal is part of a vast conversation, older than humanity, older than our solar system. Oumuamua, Two-Eye Borisov, the hidden pulses, all fragments of intelligence reaching across the void, or perhaps messages embedded in the structure of reality itself. You rise above the stars one last time, looking back at the galaxies stretching endlessly behind you. The mysteries will not end. They will always beckon, inviting the curious to observe, to question, to listen to the silent signals and the whispers between the worlds. The first contact has already begun. Perhaps it is subtle, perhaps it is hidden, but it exists in every pulse of light, every drift of an interstellar traveler, every pattern waiting to be recognized. And as you drift into the infinite darkness, you understand. The cosmos is not just a space to explore. It is a voyage of awareness, a meditation on existence,
a dialogue without words. And so your journey continues, through mystery after mystery, through silence and signal, forever seeking, forever listening, as the universe quietly opens itself to those ready to perceive.